Hello, my name is Jessica Potts and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to introduce you to materials that are needed for crocheting and a quick introductory into how to make a slip knot, a foundation chain, and single crochet. To begin crocheting, you do need crochet hooks or a kit. This is my crochet kit. These, here, we'll grab this one, are crochet hooks. Where it's tapered right here, that's where your grip is. So that's where you would hold it. And over here, we have a stitch counter or a row counter. I use them for counting rows. Very helpful. Briefly talk about these. So I'm not sure what these are for, honestly. I don't know if they're for a different type of crocheting or for knitting. But that's those. This is for knitting, but we're not focusing on knitting, we're focusing on crocheting. But they do come in the kits. And then we have yarn needles. There's two different sizes here. This is a smaller size. Right here. This one is a little bit larger, but these are your yarn needles. They are acrylic. I prefer this one. It's still dull at the end. I don't know if it's a yarn needle or a tapestry needle, but this is the one that I use. And then this has a second compartment. You have the fine crochet hooks. These are for more like doilies. So these are more of the delicate type of crocheting. This is the size, so this will be a 1.75 millimeter. It's the size of this crochet hook. We also have some stitch markers. So there's this stitch markers. Stitch markers are used for the ending of your rows, so you can keep track of your rows. There's this stitch marker. All different kinds. There's these ones. And there's these ones. These are all stitch markers that you use for the end of your rows when you're moving on to the next row. These do come in the kit, but these are for knitting needles. They just go on the ends of your knitting needles. Then we have a ruler that comes in this kit, this particular kit anyways, to help you measure your work for those that require measurements. And this gauge here is for safety eyes if you're crocheting toys, or they're called amigurumis. So this will tell you the size or the gauge that you need for safety eyes. And then you just have some simple snippers. Now I do things a little different than that. I use regular scissors most of the time. Sometimes when I'm traveling, I'll use this little cutter. You can also put a chain on it and turn it into a pendant, make it easier to carry. It's safe. You just put the yarn through the grooves to cut it on that piece right there. And the brand of yarn I use is Red Heart. I find it easy to use. Let's see, there we are. I guess it was right above there. So this will tell you that's a medium 4 or worsted weight of 4. This tells you the size of crochet hook you need, which is a 5.5 millimeter, or a USI 9 is what they recommend for this yarn. Or if you're knitting, it's a 5 millimeter or an 8 US. Once again, we're just going to focus on crocheting. This is the suggested for this size. Today we're going to use the green yarn. And as for stitch markers, I just use bobby pins. This is what I prefer. This is what I like. So this is what I use, is bobby pins. You can find something that works best for you. And when you have a pattern where you need the measure, I do keep this. It doesn't come with the kit, but I keep this in the kit. So I just keep a measuring tape in the kit. Okay, let's do a little introduction into crocheting. Let me pull out that purple crochet hook that I showed previously. So we're going to use this crochet hook. The size is a US H or a 5 millimeter. So that's what we're going to use today. Let's practice a slip knot if you don't know how to do a slip knot. So we'll put that there and we're going to work with that. So to begin a slip knot, there are 2 different ways. First, we're going to do it this way. So you want to take your end of the yarn and just put it across your palm and have it hanging over a little bit. And then just hold that yarn and turn your hand around. Then what we're going to do is take the top yarn and just kind of slightly just lay it over your pointer finger and then wrap it, come under towards you and lightly wrap it over that pointer finger. Now we're going to take this back loop and we're going to just lay it in front of the other loop. Now with our new loop, we are going to work with that in a second, because what I want you to do is take your yarn and gently pinch it between your middle finger and your thumb. You don't want it tight because you want to be able to have the yarn loose on your finger. Now you want to take that back loop and just pull it all the way over and off your finger. And then you want to pull up. This is a slip knot because it slides. Let's try that 2 more times. So you want to across your palm with the hanging over at the bottom of your palm. Turn your hand over, lay it gently over your forefinger or your pointer, and then go under towards you, up and over loosely. You want to make sure that these are loose. You don't want them tight. And then take your back loop, lay it just in front, and then gently hold both strings of yarn. Now you want to take that new back loop, grab it if you need to work with it, because you'll feel it slide through your finger, and that's okay if you need to loosen it, because you want to be able to pull it over your finger, and then you just pull up. It's coming closer. Let's try that one more time. So you want to, on your palm with it hanging over, turn your hand around and just lay it just on that pointer, and then go under towards you, up and around loosely. Grab this back loop and just lay it over. And then you want to gently pinch or just hold those 2 strings of yarn. And then this new back loop, you want to hold. And see how I have that space right there when I pick it up? You do want that because you want to be able to pull it over and around your finger. And then you can switch hands if you need to and pull up to tighten it. Now let's try a different way. I'm showing you both ways, that way you can practice and see which one you prefer. So this one, we're going to hold the end in this hand and wrap away from you over the pointer, and then come across in front of this yarn. So come in front and hold it with your middle finger and thumb. So see how I went in this direction? So you want to take this back yarn now. This is what I will call the working yarn. So take your working yarn and continue that same direction, but place the yarn in front. Once again, you want it loose, and then just gently hold both strings of yarn. Now you want to take that back loop, and once again, you want some space in it, so I'm having to loosen it up. So now you want to take that back loop and just pull it all the way over your finger. If you need to switch hands to tighten it so you can pull up, you can. Let's try that 2 more times. So you're going to take your yarn. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Okay, so you want to take your yarn and over, away from you, down, around, towards you. You want it in front of the working yarn. And see how I have the working yarn behind my fingers, so I can grab that tail end. And then you want to take your working yarn. So you're going to cross it. You're going to have that slight twist right here. See that slight twist? So you made an X. And then you're going to go around that X to make kind of a V shape. So you want to make that V shape, loosely put it around your finger. Grab hold lightly, because if you need to loosen this back loop, it's going to move your tail. And that's okay, because you're loosening it. So you're going to feel it move a little bit, but you want to loosen that to get it over your finger and then tighten. Now let's go ahead and grab our crochet hook. And let's tighten it a little bit. Okay, if you'll notice, when I put this on here and tightened it, there's still some space right there. See that space right there? You want that because you want this yarn to be able to move on your hook. So you do want that. You want that space. Try not to have it too big. Like that's way too big, but you also don't want it tight because notice how there's no space. So it's going to be harder to get it over that hook when you're crocheting. So you want a little bit of space in there. And then how I weave the yarn in my fingers, zoom out a little bit. How I weave the yarn through my fingers is, okay, you're going to hold your hand normally like this, but because I'm weaving, this is under, this is over. So palm is under, back side of your hand is over. You're going to go under your pinky, over your ring finger, under your ring finger, and over your pointer. So it's going to look like this. You always want the yarn over your pointer. Try that again. You want to go under, over, under, over. And to show you this way, you go under, whoops, under, over, under, over. Do that. I do that because this is how I'm going to hold my yarn. Now, next step is take the hand that's holding your yarn and hold that tail. I'm going to call this a tail. So you want to hold that tail with your middle finger and thumb. And then we want to take our crochet hook and come towards you, go down and around, and this right here is called a yarn over. So you want that yarn over the hook. And then remember that space. So see how I'm turning my hook? You want to turn it face down because this part here, this part right here, is going to go through that little V right there. That space that is like a upside down triangle. You want the hook to go in like that when you have the yarn over. So you want to be able to yarn over, turn your hook. Let's see if I can do it this way so that you can go through that space. Now I'll show you sideways. So you want to bring your hook towards you, come down and around underneath that yarn, turn your hook down and go through that space. That's why it's so important to have that space right there. Makes it easy for the hook just to come through. We'll do it one more time. So I have 1, 2, 3. Let's do 3 more. So you go towards yourself, down and around, and then come back up to grab that yarn. See how I have that yarn? You want this yarn in the neck of the crochet hook because it will hold it there. Whereas this loop right here, you want to be able to get it off the hook. And again, you want to go through like that. So you want to come towards you, down and around, and through that space. Now I'll go in more detail in another video, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chains. And they'll do a single crochet. You want to go into the second chain. I'll explain more in the next video. This is just more of an introduction. So you want to take your hook and put into the second chain. See that space right there? Right there. Let me move my finger. So see that space? You're not always going to easily see that space depending on the yarn you use, but we're going to put our hook through. So see, I have the hook part is facing towards you. Go through, once again, under and around, because you want the yarn over. Grab it, turn to the side, and pull through. And then you have 1, 2 loops. Once again, you want to wrap that yarn up and over your hook. So the yarn over from behind. So see how the yarn's behind the hook and over. And then you want to pull it through both. So you want to turn your hook to fit that where that V space is. Kind of hard to see with 2, but it's still there. So you want to be able to turn that hook to line up with that upside down triangle or V shape and pull through both loops. And then we're going to do that again. So see how that space is bigger? That means we just worked in there. So you want to go through the next chain. Once again, wrap that yarn from behind over, turn, so you're grabbing that yarn and pulling it through that space. Then you want to wrap around from behind. See, you go behind, up, and over. And then once again, you want this yarn underneath that hook because these 2 loops are going to go over the hook. And turn your hook down to fit through those loops. Let's go through that again. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, then we want to turn our hook down and pull through both loops. Turn that hook towards you and push it through. Grab that yarn. And remember, you want to turn that hook towards you and then pull it through. And then wrap around. Turn towards you or down, which is better for you. So either towards you or down. It's kind of towards me a little bit. And pull through. And then last one. Pull through. Turn our hooks down and pull through. And that's just a quick preview of a foundation chain and a single crochet. So in my next video, we are going to focus on how to create a foundation chain and how to single crochet.